What's good, everybody? And we are going to be talking about the mess that is the Wuthering Waves 3.3 patch, live stream, anniversary, and boy oh boy, has this been one of the most polarizing patches that we've seen so far in Gacha for the anniversary. I do want to initially mention Rerun banners because this seems to be probably the biggest upset out of everything for this anniversary. Of course, in the first anniversary, we had a two-phase banner when we had a rerun of 12 characters. Now, I think I'm one of the people that was actually pretty neutral or even positive about this. I've always been someone that is totally okay with having lots of reruns because I think the freedom of choice is a very good thing. Like, you being able to decide where your pulls go to is fine inherently. I don't have an issue with anniversary or rerun banners to this extent. 6, 12, heck, rerun every single character. I think it's just always going to be positive to give people a choice. And of course, we didn't get that this year, right? I did this as a joke for April Fools, but people thought maybe we might get something like this again, where we're able to have target a specific banner that you would like to use your pulls on. And the issue is that this was met with a lot of controversy, okay, when it first happened last year. The disappointment is crazy. Predatory banners, not even 100% rate up, and this had 6,000 upvotes. A lot of people in the Wuthering Waves community saw these banners, saw the amount of reruns they were doing, and immediately think, oh, this is predatory, it's inducing more FOMO. When to me, I think it's the opposite. I think it allows you more choice, and more choice inherently reduces that FOMO. So I was thinking, how can we fix this? What would be the solution to this, seeing as though they are doing away with them? But here's the thing when it comes to Wuthering Waves and their rerun banners. Wuwa does reruns very, very frequently. Look at Chisa, for example. In 3.3, she's about to get her second rerun. That's 3 total banners she will have had since her release back in 2.7 or 2.8. That's 3 different times, and 2 of them are reruns. Wuwa is not scared to do very, very frequent reruns. So I don't think that inherently is a problem, but the issue is they don't rerun 1.0 characters or 1.x characters. That's the biggest issue that I have. Is that they're not running these. They've got P, for example, even a couple of 2.0 characters. We don't have Carlotta very often. We don't have Bran either, right? There's no Rosia. There's no really that kind of character, and a lot of 1.0s that they don't rerun either. So I'm thinking, how can we level this out? Now, here's my solution to this. How about they do so many reruns anyway? Every patch, they just also alongside rerun a 1.0 or 2.0 character. Yeah, all these characters plus Jinxie, you know, or plus Yinlin, or there's a Brand or whatever, or they do something similar to Honkai Star Rail where you can choose certain characters to lose your 50-50 to, right? Or you can lose your 50-50 one time or a few times to X or so character. I think that'll be a good way to fix it. This is probably the thing that I'm most disappointed by, is not having this choice available, but they do rerun so often that I'm not particularly that stressed about it, specifically for newer characters. But the isolation of the 1.0 and the 2.0 characters might start to become apparent later on. So including that in reruns, just having more in general would kind of level out this issue for me, personally. Because I'm a fan of choice, W choice. If we take this patch as 3.3 on its own, just as a regular live stream, I think we can all agree it's pretty good. We have a bunch of events, a bunch of combat events, 2 characters, a great main story with 2 segues in it. It's actually a pretty stacked 3.3 patch on its own. However, the problems start arising when we talk about the anniversary side of the live stream. And I think the lack of the anniversary living up to maybe some people's standards left a very sour taste over the whole 3.3 patch as a whole, okay? That this is this kind of says a lot right here, okay? The CN community is not happy. It's getting to the point where even the CN community themselves are, look at this, 9,242 comments and 9,000 likes. This is an anniversary so controversial that even CN is not particularly happy about it. And we have right here, this is Kuro Games right now. Kuro Games trying to make a good anniversary. Right here. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, what? Oh, yeah. Disintegrated. Disintegrated, bro. Like, it's Kuro Games trying to do an anniversary and they end up failing at the hurdle like every single time. They just can't seem to get it right. Oh, it's time. Google Classroom. As you guys know, this happened back in the Genshin days when they had a very bad anniversary. People started boycotting and leaving bad ratings on other apps. It got so out of hand. Here, first anniversary. We are rerunning all old characters. What? 12 banners? Second anniversary. No reruns this year because you guys didn't like it. What? No reruns? Like, I think reruns are fine. The problem with last year's banners is I think reruns are great because choice is always great. The problem was they gave you 12 reruns and barely any pulls. That was really the issue. The issue wasn't the reruns themselves. Summary of anniversary stream. I expected nothing and I'm still let down. So there's an overwhelming sentiment at the moment. Kuro Games CEO Solon Lee just announced absolutely nothing. And here we have a bunch of people in the actual Kuro Games HQ right now waiting for the live stream. They were waiting for the live stream. So there is a lot of polarizing opinions. Let's check this out. They are cooked. I truly admire the development team behind Wuthering Waves. In a community full of pointless criticism and praise, they've managed to identify and implement those 0.5% of ideas that actually bring real improvements to the game. By ignoring all the unnecessary negativity and focusing solely on improving the game's quality, they've created a great community environment. Any team that lacks autonomy would eventually fail in such a situation. This is why I keep playing the game even though I get nothing in return. This is why I keep playing. This is why I keep playing the game even though I get nothing in return. Thumbs up. The Kuro God can distinguish the voices of players. Manufacturers need to focus on making games. The community has to worry about much more. I love getting nothing. Even though I get nothing, you will eat your slop and you will be happy about it. You will be happy about it. And so here is the reality. And here is the objective truth over this anniversary. Do I think 3.3 is better than 2.3, the anniversary of last year? In some ways, yes, because at least in 3.3, we're actually getting a main quest, right? We see right here, we're getting 2 segues and a main quest. So guess what? We actually have stuff to do. So just on purely the basis of having things to do in this patch, I'm pretty happy. But again, from the anniversary standpoint, the events just don't seem up to par as last year. They don't. The actual anniversary, I don't care about Pong, the Cube Derby, which is basically a glorified logging. We've got UPS delivery service and 20 polls, right? I just think it just doesn't feel as good as last year, despite the fact that we have right here, the first anniversary, we had 35 Radiant Tides and 10 Lustrous Tides and 2,700 Asteroids. And in this patch, okay, currently, there's like, what, 20 more pulls? There's like kind of, what, 10 more pulls than last time. We've got 10 more weapon pulls, okay? But still the same amount, 35 Radiant Tides, a similar amount of Asteroids. The amount of rewards that we're actually getting is kind of the same. It's very much on the same playing as last year, and I think that's the standard that now Kuro Games is setting. This is what we will come to expect from every anniversary going forward. They're not about to set the standard of dishing out a ton of rewards. Even though they did a bit of like apologems last year, because people still weren't happy last year. They did a bit of apologems. That's not happening this time around, and they figured, no, this is the rate that we're gonna do. This is the rate we're gonna set at. So yeah, second anniversary, 55 pulls. And that's what we're dealing with. And we could see here as well, 3.3 so far, don't forget, this is a work in progress. This number could change. This patch, we're getting 122 pulls versus in 2.3, 119. But 10 of these are coming from weapon pulls. And we all know weapons are becoming more and more important as we go along in Wuthering Waves. And I think for me, one of the reasons why this anniversary felt kind of, you know, not as great, okay? They're calling this anniversary collab season. Second coming of Solaris, collab season. I would argue this is the second coming of Solaris, the advertisement season. It's not a collab season, it's an advertisement one. Because like all of these like bike things, oh look, you get Resident Evil, Angry Birds, Kaiju, Pragmata, Rise of... These are just ad spaces. And this is why I call it the Ad-versary, not the anniversary. Like this, I feel like this isn't necessarily something, this is something little that some people might like, but it feels like, hey guys, our bike is now just advertising space for you. And now we're praising it as like a thing to announce as an anniversary. Look at all these collabs. You love collabs, but in my brain, I just see this as marketing and ad space. Like it's so blatantly obvious. You could say, well, every collab is marketing and advertisement, like fine, sure. But this just really feels like ads. It does. This is the adversary of adversaries. And not to mention with the patch notes, the amount of merch. Look at it, bro, they have a whole section. They have a whole section, guys, dedicated to merchandise. There's a whole section. The bike skins, you have the Mornier skins, you have the, what did they have in the live stream? The new mecha you can get. Another, like there's more merchandise than this here. But there's more merchandise options for you to buy in this patch. Bro, we saw them here, right? We saw the amount of merchandising options. Where is it? Where is it? Bro, like all of this. So many things that you could buy. Yippee! Merchandising, the world tour. There's more options for things that you could buy than like giving out rewards. And I think that's why for me personally, it left a bit more of a sour taste. They care more about selling you stuff and advertising and ads than actually like giving back to a community. No, I'm not out here suggesting that Wuthering Waves needs to give out 500 free pulls and a free selector and everything will be fine. It's just giving me the total opposite perception when they're mainly pushing out advertisements for things that you can buy. It's just the optics of it all that leave a sour taste in my mouth. I'm not expecting the world. Honestly, I'm not expecting the world, but I think we all kind of hope that Courier Games would learn from last year and improve. And they did to a certain extent. They did by actually having the main quest tied in with an anniversary, which I think is totally fine. But overall, I just think this is... I'm just left with a sour taste. If you buy those, you should be considered a cock. Even if you don't, okay, that's an insane take. That's an insane take. And here we have the second of Solaris, the collab season, where we have like the quote-unquote pulling event, where you have individual progress, where by the end of it you can get another 10 forging tides, or they have the server progress. So it's a collective progress towards rewards for the anniversary. We have the bountiful waves, okay? That's what this is. Spin drifts, which can be exchanged for various items in bountiful waves. Rewards include Radiant Tide, Still Mind, Hyuka's accessory, Denny's doll, her accessory, a bunch of like accessories. Top-up bonus resets. Look at that, merchandise! Dude, like, we're at the point where merchandise is like a thing to celebrate. Just think about that. In an anniversary where we celebrate stuff, merchandise is a big thing to celebrate. Ways that you can spend your money is what we're celebrating, which is the complete opposite of what gacha anniversaries are supposed to be. Like, complete opposite. Look, Mornier's skin, new bike, coffee. Funny they're not including all the other things. They're not including that here because it would unironically make the patch notes half of it being merchandise, by the way. That's the reason why they didn't include it, because legitimately half the patch notes would just be their merchandising. Okay? That's the problem that I have. This is the merch collab. They have the star bouncing Pong event no one really cares about. Gift to Starlight. Yippee. Daily login rewards. Depths of Elusive Realm. I'm very happy by. I'm glad they're bringing it back. 800 asteroids. I just hope that they can refresh it and bring it back now and again. Not just like once every 2 years. Please, I beg. Okay. Once every 2 years is not enough. But I'm interested and excited for all the lore that we're going to see from it. And what this actually entails. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be great. Okay. QB Derby Championship. A new season of QB Derby's back for the 2nd anniversary of the second coming Solaris. Come watch the match and support your cube. Another time-gated event. Love, great. 300 asteroids. Who cares? Who cares? 300 asteroids. This is just their excuse to bring the cubes back. That's it. Refit. Cross-world sync. Oh, more collabs. More ads, guys. Who cares about this? No one cares. It's just ad space. Yo, guys, more ads. Crossworld sync part 2. Oh, even more ads. Bro, half of the patch notes are ads. Accessory showcase. This is what you get for doing all the... That's cute. Having a little... Okay, that is cute. Collab season. A little accessories in the hair. Okay, fair enough. They're putting more customizations. They're adding more customizations. Okay, bikes, more outfits, blah, 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 blah. And that's all we have. Bro, deadass, half of these patch notes are just merchandising and ads. It makes me kind of sad. So I feel that's why a lot of people are feeling a little let down by this anniversary. We expected a step up from last year, but clearly the standard has been set, and I think for the years to come, that's all we're going to be sticking with. This is what to expect every single year. No teaser at the end for Cyberpunk also kind of threw me off as well, but it is what it is. Okay, they fought his anniversary up 2 times. It just doesn't feel that important, but obviously we have a bunch of new stuff. We have Hiyuki and Denia. I am excited, but if I hold all that and just think of 3.3 as a whole, I am excited for 3.3. I'm excited for the story. I'm excited for Yuki and Denia, and that's all I care about. If Kuro Games is gonna treat the anniversary like a side piece, so will I. I think it is just the most unfortunate part of WUA, and I really feel like they're maybe taking their community a little bit for granted these days, right? I don't want that, but like I really do feel like they're taking people a little bit for granted. We have a new region which looks great. I do like the way that the new region looks. It's very cool. It's kind of given Renacita vibes a little bit for me, which is kind of cool. And we're getting a lot of trees. I'm so playing in this like Yggdrasil multiverse theory that's happening here. I feel like if the Stargate ends up being part of a tree, that's going to be pretty cool. So I'm very much interested in the story, very much looking forward to that. And the events, of course, Depths of Elusive Realm is great. We have another combat event, Combat Mastery Test. That's going to be fun. And also we have a new hologram with Sigilin, which is going to be, that's going to beat all our asses. So just from a 3.3 on its own perspective, I'm looking forward, right? We have that collab season, more like the advertising season, okay? Outfits, vehicles, you could spend money on a new waves line. Yo, buy more stuff, guys. Bountiful waves, ads. New enemies. We have a new Sonata set. This is obviously gonna be for Hiyuki. She's gonna do Glacial Chafe. Dealing resistance abrasion damage, removes snowfall, decreases crit rate, caustic out just removes snowfall, and grants glacial damage versus the incoming resonator. And then we have a new Tune Rupture Sonata set as well, which probably be useful for Lene. So a lot of new stuff that's happening. Key updates. Obviously, we have a flying bike now. Kind of looks a little bit goofy. Yeah, it kind of looks a little bit goofy, but hey, we're paying $25 a pop for these bike skins. I better be using them in other regions. It better be using it for other regions. It flaps the wings. I kind of wish it was more like a jet than like a bird. Like, why does it have to flap? Why can't it be like a jet plane or something? But like, or like a mecha. But why does it have to flap its wings? But I just hope we're gonna be able to use these bikes in other regions, because otherwise I'm gonna be spending $50 fucking on bike skins that I can't use anywhere. That's gonna be shit. That's gonna be shit, but we can do that. Obviously, we have new UI updates, which look pretty cool.
Kind of needed a good refresh. I'm cool with that. More accessories. They're clearly going down the route of adding more accessories than they are adding skins. So that's kind of how it be. Optimizations, lower mobile storage, which is great, and more resonator PFP sort of things like this. Also nice. Probably exo swarm tech. They are mechanic animals. You know what? That's fair. You know what? That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Yeah, the UI looks really, really good. But overall, if I were to rate 3.3 as a regular patch, I think it would be one of the most solid patches. But just this whole collab ad shit, merchandising, giving kind of fuck all, and it's just the same shit as last year. That's like a 5. It's just mid. It's just 5. But just 3. Ignoring the anniversary, I'm looking forward to 3.3 in the story, and I hope you guys are too. Honestly, that's really all I have to say about it. That's really all I have to say. We could see the pull count. It's really nothing special. And it's mid-anniversary. What can we say? Absolute mid. I appreciate y'all. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates with all your favorite gacha games. Stay silly. I appreciate y'all. Peace.